In this tutorial, we're going to be taking a look at the floating text script. I know we've gone through it before, but I'm going to go over it again. So I'm going to take that same object from the previous tutorial that has the URL launcher script, and I'm going to actually add the float script as well to it, so that people will know when they see my object that it's going to give them a URL to CNN. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my inventory. I had already bought the script from the restricted warehouse, for those of you taking Dr. De Leon's class. So here's my floating text script. I see a folder called float text script. I'm going to go ahead and open it. And here's my floating text script. I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop it. Let me drag and drop it to the object. So there it is, and you see the floating text script. It's a little bit hard to read. And here, I'm going to go ahead and edit the floating text script. And so the main function for the float text script is the llsetText, and it's composed of three items here, three main components. One is the text that will appear above your object, that's in between quotations. The second one is the values that represent the color of the text, which are enclosed in caret brackets. And lastly the last value represents how strong the text will appear. And the values should actually go from 0 to 1. And so 1, you'll actually see your solid text, but if you put 0, it becomes clear. So if you put 0.5, it might change it to be a little bit more transparent. But what you don't want to change the value here, just leave it as it is. So let me change the text here to say CNN web page giver. And then I'm going to change the color, and the different numbers represent the values of red, green, and blue. And so, when you mix colors, you can make different colors from that. And so, but I'm going to go ahead and change the text to red. So I'm just going to change the first value. And just to let you know, in the lesson, I provided you guys a color code table, so that if you want different variations of color, it'll provide you what numbers you need to put inside the caret brackets. You also want to pay attention while you're changing your code to the comments that are provided within the code, because they'll tell you what to do. So for example, here, the comments, you'll see that they're in orange text, and they start off with the 2 forward slashes, just these two items right here. So this one says you can change the color of the floating text by changing the zeros to 0.5 or 1 in any combination. This means that they don't all have to be the same, as long as they're always 3 numbers from the ranges from 0 to 1. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Save and close my script to see what happens. And there you go. I'm going to close my inventory as well. So now my object has floating text to let people know that this will give them a web page. And so, as you notice too, from this tutorial, you can actually have more than one script applied. And this concludes this tutorial.